You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. How do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Act your dream with open eyes. I'm telling you, every time. Gets me every time. Welcome, my name is Mick McQuillan. And of course, you're joining me on FHL, Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, Personal Development with a Plan. And that plan is for you to get to where you want to be, really. It's where I want it. It's what I want to do. And of course, today's episode 106, Why Not You? Clips and comments. And that could be why not me, right? Why not me? Why not me? Who knows? Right, you would have noticed my Why Tribe. That's to help people find their way, live with purpose, and grow. It's a new community that we're growing. And of course, there's links in the description to find out more about that. And of course, you can join that WhatsApp community. The link is in the comments. Feel free to click it, join. Let's have a see if we can get you where you want to be. That's what it's about. And we do have a Zoom call, special guest, Roger Hill from More Mito, which he'll be sharing. Let me see. Where's that? Yeah, so join the guest speaker, Roger. You can go to that Zoom. Again, link is in the description. Go and check it out. Register. That's going to be Tuesday, September 30th. Why not you? Why not you? Let me have a look. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Click the notification button. You'll hear when we're on. Usually it's Joey and I, but Joey's on training, army training. war games with 19 other countries. But go and check Joey out. Where can you find him? You can find him here on Facebook at joey.unger. Joey creates a lot of content. Great guy. You'll really like him. You know, but listen, look, we're here today. Joey, look after yourself. Stay safe. People still say that. Bloody hate that. But that's a different thing. But look, why not you? That's what today's all about. But again, FHL is all about thinking better, doing better, being better, right? And one of the things you need is a strong reason why you're doing something. So I've got some clips. We're going to get straight into it. And then maybe I'll get your comments. Maybe. We'll see. But look, let's start with this one.
Not you. You've got the brains. You can make decisions. You can study the plan. You can change your life. You can grow immensely in the next few years. You can make your dreams come true. You can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. You can become healthy. You can become powerful. Why not you? Work on your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership training, here's what we learn. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. But if the why isn't strong, if your goals aren't powerful, if the vision isn't clear, the old prophet said, without a vision we die, without a vision we perish, without a dream we're nothing. We joined because we believed. We stayed because we were committed. We left because we were disillusioned. But we came back because we were lost. Without a dream, we are nothing.
Without a dream, we are nothing. That's interesting, right? So, strong reason why. Reason why is a dream, a goal. You know, what are your goals? Do you have goals? You know, maybe you have a goal to buy a house, buy a bigger house, buy a car, buy a nicer car. I don't know, right? So you've got to have a why, a reason why you're doing something. What is it that you want? In fact, Bob Proctor talks about that in that first video. You know, what do you want? You know, just make a decision on what you want and then go after it. So you've got to have a reason why. It could be a new job. I don't know what it is. Strong why. And the will to do it. Work on your list. In fact, I heard, was it Brian Tracy talk about, you know, write down a list of everything and anything that you can think about, you know, of what you want. You know, it's probably worth doing. You know, just planting those seeds into your subconscious mind. And in fact, I actually watched an interesting video. It was a long time ago now. It was a video of Jim Rome's mentor, Shome. I think it's Shome. That's his name. He was nicknamed the Millionaire Maker. And if you search that on YouTube, Millionaire Maker, what was his first name? I can't remember. Shome was his second name, I think, something like that. But he was talking about writing down these things and then just signing it and saying thank you, like it's already done, like you're actually just getting it. But anyway, reason why? Why not you? You know, why don't you have all the things that you want? You know, why not? And there is an interesting clip here. Well, let's just play this, right? Let me see. Let me get rid of this, and let me see if I can get the right one. Yeah, this could tie into that. Let's have a listen.
People are depressed and down is because they're not doing what they love. They're doing what they have to. That's what the workforce and work world do. It steals dreams. People have to compromise their dreams just to survive.
Interesting. He's talking about dream stealers.
The reason why people are depressed and down is because they're not doing what they love. They do.
Are you doing what you love? I suppose I'm fortunate because I get to do what I love. Yeah, I have my own business. I work with people that I want to work with, that I that like me. Does that make me lucky? No, because I designed it that way, right? So, last week we were talking about opportunity, prepared meets opportunity, and you create your environment, right? You do. You create it. And that comes down to how you think. So if you're not focused on your reason why, you're not focused on your goals, you're just going to drift through life like this guy's talking about, where people are going to steal your dreams. They're going to tell you the reasons why you can't do it. And this is true of everybody. Those people closest to you the most, they're going to tell you why you can't do it, why you shouldn't do it. They're only saying it to protect you, to stop you from getting hurt. But you're going to get hurt. When you're trying to do something different, when you're trying to do something, above the average, to make yourself better, to get better, to do things better, to have more, to be able to do more, to be able to help more, you're going to, upset a few people by not being what they would consider being normal. Like you wanting to do something which is different from what everybody else is doing, it's going to set you apart, and they're going to think, oh my God, look, you're going to get hurt. Don't do that. You're going to lose all your money. You're going to, what if it doesn't work? Forget about all that stuff. It doesn't matter. You've got to do what you want to do. I think that's important.
What they have to. That's what the workforce and work world do. It steals dreams. People have to compromise their dreams.
You do. Like they pay you just enough. You get a job, they pay you just enough that it makes you just get by. You have enough to be able to go on holiday a couple of times a year, maybe if you're lucky. Have a nice car, have a nice house, be secure, but you're just in that comfort zone. You're just not stretching yourself, and you're afraid to go after it. Maybe, I don't know. Look, I don't know what's right for you, but I would come back to working on your list. Just take a moment, sit down, work on your list. What is it you want? What is it? Like we do it every year, right? New Year's resolutions, things like this. Like how many of those things do we actually achieve? Not many. If any. I don't know. What was it that Brian Tracy was talking about? Wishful thinking is just a delusion. You've got to make it happen. You've got to do it. Damn, we're getting straight into it today, aren't we?
Just to survive. The reason why people are depressed and down is because they're not doing what they love. They're doing what they have to. That's what the workforce and work world do. It steals dreams. People have to compromise their dreams just to survive. The reason why people are...
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard to hear that. It is, because we all do it. Procrastinate, we hold off. We just don't do what it takes sometimes. Yeah, hard. It's hard to hear.
Are depressed and down is because they're not doing what they love.
Depressed and down because they're not doing what they love. How incredible is that? It's insightful for sure, no doubt about it. All right. This is a good one. You'll like this. I think you'll like this. So I was only talking to someone yesterday. I was talking about smiling, practicing smiling. It's important to practice smiling. The reason why, because it's impossible to have a bad thought. In my opinion, it's impossible to have a negative thought, a bad thought about something or somebody when you're smiling. You just can't do it. And it makes the world seem like a brighter place to be in, especially when you're thinking about your reasons why you might do something. You always, if you're smiling, if you're in a positive frame of mind, and if you're in a good mood, smiling helps you get there. But again, when you're thinking about the things that you want, you tend to lean towards maybe, a positive approach to, if you're down and miserable and fearful and worried, you look at them as if to say, well, I could never do that. I can never have this. Why do all these bad things happen to me, instead of why do things work out for me? Why do things always seem to, go in my direction? Why is strong, isn't it? It's a strong word. Why not you? Why not me? Why? My why. What is my why? My reason for wanting this, for wanting to do this? What difference is it going to make? not just for me, not just for my family, for my community? What's the wider difference that it's going to make? Right, let's get into it.
Happy, fake it. Act happy even if you don't feel it. And I don't mean walking around giggling, jumping up and down, ecstatic. I think you understand what I mean. At least not acting unhappy. How you act is how you feel. But because we live in a very foolish age, the age of feelings, we have it backwards. Act the way you feel instead of feel as a result of the way you act. We have it completely backwards. They have done studies where simply people smiling more, not even acting happy in any other way, has affected their own happiness. Completely backwards. They have done studies where simply people smiling more, not even acting happy in any other way, has a foolish age, the age of feelings. We have it backwards.
It is interesting. That part is interesting. Bob Proctor's You Were Born Rich webinar, seminar, 6 sessions. Search for it. You Were Born Rich webinar, Bob Proctor, remastered. I would encourage anybody to watch it. It's absolutely fascinating. It's amazing. But he talks about, your results. And he talks about how your thoughts control your feelings control your actions control your results. And if you're not getting the results that you want, you've got to come back and change your thinking. And, this guy here, what he's talking about, we allow our feelings, to control how we think, which is the wrong way around, because it's our thoughts that control our feelings. It's not the other way around. And no one can make you feel anything. You feel it. It is fascinating, this stuff. It really is. I'm fascinated by it. We're talking about people who steal your dreams. We're talking about environment, how, that comfort zone, not doing the things that you want. And then asking why. Why not you? Or why you? Why is this happening to you? Why are we not living the life that we want to live? What is it that keeps us mentally stuck? Instead of taking that step, talking about the comfort zone again. A dangerous place to be, as Bob Proctor would say. So this is important, this feelings business. Now I've got an exercise for you, right? Try this. I tried this. Someone told me about this years and years ago, numerous decades ago. And I tried it. And it was to stand in front of the mirror and smile at yourself. Did I read this in a book? I can't remember. Was it in the Magic Thinking Big, or what was it? Maybe one of you guys will know and you'll tell me. But it was to stand in front of the mirror and to smile at yourself. Could have even been Tony Robbins, actually. This is about building self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-image. And I think it was Tony Robbins. Was it the Awaken the Giant Within series that he had maybe 20 years ago? Maybe a little bit longer than that. You buy it on DVD or CD. For people, some people might not know what a CD is. That's okay. But yeah, and I remember I used to listen to it every day. But he was talking about smiling, and how you can't have a negative thought when you're smiling. So, and to practice smiling, even when you're on the phone, smile, always smiling. Smile at strangers. Quite often they'll look back at you, they'll look at you and say, you're weirdo. Or they'll even smile back, like some of them will. You can, your smile can change somebody's day, but it starts with changing your day first, right? Put you in a better mindset. But try this. So stand in front of the mirror and smile at yourself for about 10 minutes, right? It's going to be hard. First time you do it, if you've never done it, it's going to be hard. So you're going to smile at yourself. And if you're aware, you're smiling at yourself in the mirror, and you're saying, I look amazing, you look great, you look great today, whatever it is you're saying. And, you'll maybe get this little voice in your head that will say, what have you got to smile about? Your life is crap. You've got to go into work and see these people that you don't even like, or you've got this, you've got that, and you've got all these things going wrong and everything else. This little voice in your head. And in that, and you can literally see your face change. You can literally see, I've done this exercise with people. I've encouraged people to do it, and sometimes they ring me up and they say, "Oh my God!" I ask them, "How did it go?" And they say, "Oh my God, it was so bad. It made me cry in a bad way because it was the first time that they've actually heard themselves talk to themselves. They caught themselves saying some awful things to themselves, and the truth is, you don't need to be saying bad stuff to yourself. There's plenty of other people that be more than happy to engage in that for you. You don't need to do it to you, So it's something you've got to stop right away. Immediately stop saying bad things about yourself, criticizing yourself. Nothing wrong with being critical about your actions and how you can do things differently. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's no point in beating yourself up about it. There's plenty of other people out there that will happily do that for you. You don't need to do it to yourself. So I would encourage you to smile at yourself, look at yourself in the mirror, give yourself a big smile, and tell yourself how great you are, and how better you can be. You've only got to be better than yesterday, right? So you're only in competition with yourself anyway. But look, you've got to work on your list, have a strong reason why you're doing it. Like if you're getting up tomorrow morning to go into that job that you hate, you've got to change how you think about that job. You've got to go in there, instead of hating it, why don't you try loving it? Why don't you try smiling about it? Why don't you try saying, hey, I love my job. I'm great at my job. People love being around me. I don't know how you do it, but you've got to do it for you. But start with smiling. He's right. You've got to, smiling is a good thing. We have it completely backwards.
Down, ecstatic. I think you understand what I mean. At least not acting unhappy. How you act is how you feel. But because we live in a very...
How you act is how you feel. Fake it till you make it. That first video, which we're going to watch again at the end, always play it. He talks about in that video, act, walk, talk like you're already there. That's what this guy's talking about. He's talking about, you've got, sometimes, when I don't know what to do, I ask myself, if I did know what to do, how would I do it? That's what I think about. I think about how could I do it? If I did know how to do it, how could I do it? So when it comes to, working on my list or working on my why, there's going to be questions, well, I'm not sure how to do that. Well, if I did know how to do it, how would I do it? Not I can't do it, but if I knew how to do it, how would I do it? Don't know. Dream stealers, they're all out there. They're out there. Avoid them.
Very foolish age, the age of feelings, we have it backwards. Act the way you feel, instead of feel as a result of the way you act. We have it completely backwards. They have done studies where simply people smiling more, not even acting happy in any other way, has affected their own happiness.
Smiling, the road to happiness. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Okay. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, click that notification button. You'll hear when Joye and I are on, usually around about the same time every week, right? But look, don't let anybody steal your dream. Take a moment, write down the things that you want to do. Right, let's get on with this.
One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership, work on your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership training, here's what we learned. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. But if the why isn't strong, if your goals aren't powerful, if the vision...
That is true, that, the what to do and how to do, is easy. It is. It's the reason why you're doing it. It is. Most of us are just doing it for a paycheck, right? You turn up every day, you know what to do, you know how to do it. It's dead easy. It's not in the beginning, you turn up and it's like you don't even know where the stationery is, you don't know where the bathrooms are, you don't know where your locker is, if you have a locker, you don't know if you've got the right desk, you don't know if you're using someone else's mug. But after a while, it's pretty easy. You know what to do, you know how to do it. It's simple. You're in your comfort zone. And your reason why is because you're getting this paycheck at the end of the month or the end of the week. And that's it. And we settle for that. We settle for that paycheck instead of, maybe wanting more. I'm not saying all of us, I'm saying some of us. We just settle for it. We just don't know why. We don't know why. We have no why. To be honest, having a strong why. Now, I don't know. I really don't know. I think I do know, but you've got to have a strong why. Know why you're doing it. Why you're doing the things that you're doing. Why are you gonna put yourself out there to get shot down, to get told that you can't do it. We were told that when we started our business. We were told no one's ever going to use a service like that, Mike. No, Ireland will never do anything like this. And today, we proved everybody wrong. Was that one of my reasons why? Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. That gets me worked up when someone tells me I can't do something. I think, I'm going to show you I can. Sometimes it's to prove everybody wrong. But you've got to love your haters, right? You've got to show them that you're not affected by their words or the things that they say, and that, you can do it. And of course you can. So I would ask you, why not you? Why not you? What's holding you back? Bob Proctor says that, you're your biggest problem, but you're also your only solution. You have to work on you. Jim Rome here talks about self-education. Working on yourself is the most important thing that you can do. I think it is. I think it is one of the most important things you can do. Like education is important, self-education is even more important. Working on you and how you communicate with yourself. One of the best things that ever happened for me was, learning how to communicate with myself. How I talk to myself. Standing looking in the mirror, smiling at myself, hearing that inner dialogue and saying, hold on a second. No, I don't want that. I don't want that self-talk. I want better. I want to talk to myself better. I want to encourage myself. I want to inspire myself. I want to influence myself. I don't want to be influenced. I want to be, inspired by me, by what I can do, by the differences that I can make. And those differences start with me first. Like if I become better, do I affect, people around me? Do I make them better? I would hope so. I would hope so.
In leadership training, here's what we learned. If the why is powerful, the how is easy.
Agreed.
But if the why isn't strong, if your goals aren't powerful, if the vision isn't clear, the old prophet said, without a vision we die, without a vision we perish, without a dream we're nothing. I'm asking you to make a list of what you want. What kind of health do you want? What kind of skills do you want? What kind of power would you like to have? What kind of influence would you like to have? I'm asking you to go home and work on.
Do something just popped into my mind there? Like lots of times we think, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to, get a qualification in this. I'm going to get a qualification in that. And there's nothing wrong with that, and then we put a little label on that, a couple of letters after your name, PhD, masters or whatever else, or BS or whatever it is, and that gets you a better job and everything else. But we think that that's important, and it is important, but it isn't as important as maybe just sitting down and saying, do you know what? I'm going to work on me today. I'm going to do something on me today. I'm going to make me better today. Not by filling my brain with textbook information, but by learning and understanding more about my brain and how I talk to myself and how I communicate with myself, and make myself better, make myself more valuable. Because that's what you're doing by going and retraining and, improve and, scaling up or whatever in your education. Yeah, you're making yourself more valuable to maybe a different organization or that company that you're already with. But I think you can do that, just by yourself, just by learning how you communicate with yourself instead of being reactive, becoming responsive, So I would encourage everybody to work on yourself. I know he's talking about work on your why. Well, listen to that again for sure, because why just like what is, maybe we need to ask that question, like what is why?
Your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership training, here's what we learned. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. But if the why isn't strong...
It makes me think about, JFK when he turned to, what was his name? Von Braun, the rocket scientist. And he said, well, what would it take us to get it, get us to the moon? And his words were the will to do it. And that's what it's about. It's about the will to do it. Having a strong enough reason why and having the will to do it, the discipline to do it. Why not you? Damn. Strong why.
Work on your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership training, here's what we learned. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. But if the why isn't strong, if your goals aren't powerful...
It's true. If your why's not strong, if your goals aren't powerful, you're going to procrastinate. You're going to kick that can down the road. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. We all do that, don't we? With certain things. I remember in school, decades ago, got homework to do. Maybe it has to be in next week. Do it till the night before, right? You procrastinate, you put things off because it's not important, So having a strong, powerful why. But this, to be honest, there's more to this. Some of this is really about self-image as well, having self-belief, believing that you can do it, believing that you can have it. And I was talking to a young lady earlier this week, and I was saying to her about the book Think and Grow Rich, and the chief aim statement in there, and actually working on that, and actually saying it out loud morning and evening, to build that confidence, that self-belief, that inner belief that you can do it, that you can have it, and that's where it starts. Like if you were to sit down and write down your list of goals or your reasons why you want something, maybe you want the newest hypercar. You're going to come up, the first thing you're going to do is, well, I won't put that down because I don't have enough money for one of them. I don't think I'll ever be able to have one of them. There could be all kinds of different things. Or maybe you want a new house, like a 10-bedroom house, or I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. They're not my reasons. They're your reasons, whatever they are. I would say, look, just write them down. Don't care about how you're going to get them. Bob Proctor talks about that in that video. And we will watch that again at the end. There's so much in that video, it's powerful. When using it to reflect on what it is that you want and how you're going to get it. And he talks about the how not even being important, So, just talking in riddles, mate. Telling you, this stuff is mind warping sometimes. It really is, because there's so much involved. Having a strong reason why. Like I remember, some people talking, saying, "Oh, I don't have any energy. I'm so tired." Truth is, if you're sitting at home and just Zoom, watching the television, mind-numbingly boring, and then just to escape, just for a moment, and that's fine. We all need to be able to escape from time to time, But to do that every night, every day, every night, and then wonder why things aren't changing for you, why things aren't getting better for you, why, the last 5 years has been the same as the 5 years before, because nothing's changing. Well, why is nothing changing? Because you're not changing. You're not working on yourself. You're not growing. You're not expanding. You're just waiting for, everything to change for you to get better. It doesn't work like that. You have to get better. You have to get better yourself. You have to work on yourself. Having strong reason. Why would you want to work on yourself? Why would you want to invest all that time in yourself, to get better? But you feel better for one, right? That could be a good thing. I want to feel better. I want to feel better about myself. I want to think better. We all want better. We all want to think better and do better, have better. We all want better. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you have a strong, why not you attitude? Getting fired up.
If the vision isn't clear, the old prophet said, without a vision we die, without a vision we perish. without a dream, we're nothing. I'm asking you to make a list of what you want. What kind of health do you want? What kind of skills do you want? What kind of power would you like to have? What kind of influence would you like to have? I'm asking you to go home and work on the why.
Work on the why. Go home and work on the why. What is the why? What is the why? What is your why? What's your reason why? A lot of us don't know. Damn. Damn. I don't know. You're going to have to think about this one, because it's got to be your reason why, right? Can't be anybody else. It's got to be yours. It's got to be yours. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me see.
If the vision isn't clear, the old prophet said, without a vision we die, without a vision we perish, without a dream we're nothing. I'm asking you to make a list of what you want. What kind of health do you want? What kind of skills do you want? What kind of power would you like to have? What kind of influence would you like to have? I'm asking you to go home and work on the why. Work on your
why. Right, we get it. Work on your why. So, I don't know, do you segment your life? Personal, business, social, friends, family, spiritual? Do you segment it and then break down all your whys in these areas? Creating your goals. What is it that you do? How do you do it? Don't know, you'll have to come up with that for yourself. By all means, reach out, get in touch. We can have a conversation on how you might do that. But again, knowing why you might do it is more important. Like, why would you want to, self-reflect and look at what it is that you really want? Why do you want it? And then we'll figure out the how to do it and the what to do and the how to do. That stuff is the easy stuff. It really is. The what to do, the how to do is easy. If it's just about money, the what to do and how to do is easy. You can do all that. It's the reason why. Why do you want all this extra cash? Why do you want all this extra money? What are you going to do with it? After you've bought the nice house, the nice car, had the nice trips, what are you going to do? How are you going to make a difference or leave a legacy in the world? What is it you're going to do? Why are you going to do that? Why? What's your reason why for doing it? What's the difference that you could make? Goals are important. Learned that in rehab. I didn't. Honest to God. Just joking. Okay. Let's have a listen.
You don't have a contract to live forever, The average person tiptoes through life hoping they make...
It's true. It's true. So we've got our friend Bob Proctor here. I don't know what this is, but...
You don't have a contract to live forever, The average person tiptoes through life hoping they make it safely to death. What a dumb game. And we get one shot at it. That comfort zone is a dangerous place to be. It's like Ray said, it may be comfortable, but it's a bad spot. When an idea comes into your mind, you want to ask yourself this question. Don't ask whether it's wrong or whether it's right. Do you know what the question is? Will that idea take me from where I am and move me in the direction of the star that I'm shooting at? Will it help me reach my goal? If it won't, I guarantee you it's going to take you in the other direction, because you're not going to stay where you are. When someone gives you a suggestion that takes you in a direction other than where you want to go, you have the ability to consciously and mentally just reject that idea.
Yes, isn't that interesting? Just reject it. It is funny that, these clips, by the way, this clip here particularly, all of this Bob Proctor scene here, all of these clips are coming from his You Were Born Rich remastered webinar. I recommend everybody to watch it, especially if you want to figure out and understand how you think, how your thinking controls your environment, if you like. Certainly how you respond to your environment, and how... Just go and watch it. Take my word for it. It's going to make you better. If you want better, certainly if you want more understanding, of how you think and how you operate, your operating system. It's definitely worth watching. But it's not just about watching, you've got to put it into practice. If you don't put it into practice, nothing's going to happen, you know? And if you want something to happen, well, then you're going to have to do some things differently. And how you think is part of that process. You have to change how you think first. You know, I talk about this Buckminster Fuller quote all the time. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. That starts with your thinking. You know, and that was what I was challenged with for a long time, because I didn't know how to change my thinking. I would be thinking the same thing I was thinking yesterday. I've got this problem, and I've got the same repetitive way to think about it. I've got to change how I think about it. How do I do that? Don't know. Well, if I did know, how would I do it? You know, so you've got to think about it differently. You've got to change. You can't change things by fighting the existing reality. People are quite often, they're complaining, they're moaning, they're whinging, yeah, about all these things that are happening to them, you know, and they want the whole world to change so that they can feel better. It doesn't happen that way. You have to start feeling better. Remember that one we watched earlier on where the guy's talking about happiness, smiling, you know, and how you got to fake it until you make it. I'm not talking about faking it until you make it to be a millionaire. I'm talking about, you know, faking happiness. Right, you got to fake feel happiness first. Pretend that you're happy. Like if you're feeling down, and I said, well, look, pretend that you're happy just for a moment. How would you feel? And automatically you can start feeling happier. Right? It's about putting yourself in those situations. You know, thinking yourself into that situation to feel that way. And then when you feel that way, your outcomes become better. Like if you're being miserable and down and sad and, you know, begrudgery and, you know, oh yeah, oh God, everything, why me all the time, you know, everything happens to me, you know, like you're going to get more of that. Who wants more of that? You do, obviously, if that's what you're attracting, if that's what you're asking for. You know, you've got to change it. If you want to change something, you got to change the way you think. Bruce Lee said, look, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. So stop fucking whinging about it, because that's what you're asking for. You know, you've got to change it. Change how you think. It's okay to be a happy person. It's okay to be a happy person. It's okay to have a positive outlook. We're not talking about being delusional here. We're talking about just projecting a positive image. You know, positive energy. Project positive energy. You're going to attract more positive things into your life. You're going to attract better things into your life. And let me tell you, you are worthy. You do deserve it. You can have it. There's no reason why you couldn't have it. Only you. You're the reason why you don't have it. It's no one else to blame. It's you. You know, what did we watch there last week? You know, there was a guy talking, everything that you've got in your life, you've got because you thought about it up until now. This is what you've created. If you don't like it, change it. No one else is going to change it for you. In fact, the truth is, if you don't have goals, if you're not working on your goals, you're going to be working on somebody else's goals. They're going to set the goals for you. You know, and then you're going to get more misery, more miserable kind of shit that you don't want. Well, just pack it in. Start choosing what you want and going after it. I'm not telling you to go out and quit your job. I'm telling you to go and be better at your job. Go and do better. Go and be better. Go and be more. Damn.
Idea. You don't have a contract to live forever, you know. The average person tiptoes through life hoping they make it safely to death. What a dumb game.
Talking about risk. Don't take any risk. You know? Now, I'm not talking about, you know, crossing the road blindfolded here. You know, you want to take calculated risks, right? Yeah, if you want better, shouldn't you try and do better? Shouldn't you try and be better? Yeah, let's just watch this. Let's just watch this.
Game, and we get one shot at it. That comfort zone is a dangerous place to be. It's like Rigg said, it may be comfortable, but it's a bad spot. When an idea comes into your mind, you want to ask yourself this question. Don't ask whether it's wrong or whether it's right. Do you know what the question is? Will that idea take me from where I am and move me in the direction of the star that I'm shooting at? Will it help me reach my goal? If it won't, I guarantee you it's going to take you in the other direction, because you're not going to stay where you are. When someone gives you a suggestion, that takes you in a direction other than where you want to go, you have the ability to consciously and mentally just reject that idea.
Telling you, do you know what? Just as I was sitting here listening to Bob, and I love Bob Proctor, I think he's amazing, I really do. And there's so much content out there from Bob Proctor. Go to the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I think Linda Proctor is putting together Bob Proctor Legacy thing as well. Go and check that out, right? Search lindaproctor.com. In fact, let's have a look now. We might as well even have a look together. Let's have a look. But anyway, what I was talking about was I'd written down on my page trigger events. And most people, yeah, no, there's nothing there. Let me see if I can find something. Okay. No, but there is, oh. So I think, let's have I'm going to open this. I'm going to see if we can watch this 1 week ago. Yeah, this could be it too. Okay. Let me see, hold on. Hold on. Let me share my screen here and we'll get back to it. Let me see if we can do that. Let's see what this is. So, what if my story could unlock blueprint, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You could go here and have a look.
Where did this guy come from? People don't talk like this. It was amazing.
I really feel like he was way ahead of his time.
What would it be like to get inside the life of Bob Proctor and to follow that journey from the very beginning? Bob became famous because of the movie The Secret. Now people have the opportunity to know what Bob's secret is.
I wasn't very happy, I wasn't very healthy, and I was broke most of the time. He told me if I didn't like the results I was getting in my life, that I was going to have to change me because they were my results. And he said, if you're going to change you, you're going to have to find out something about yourself.
Yeah, go and check that out. Go and check that out. I think you might find that interesting. So that's the bobproctorlegacy.com. Go and check that out and see. What is this? Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, but I was saying that, look, I'm a fan of Bob Proctor. And I think there's a new movie coming out that his wife, Linda Proctor, has produced. So go and check that out. I think it's well worth a look, for sure. Absolutely. Let me see. What was I talking about? Yeah. So I had written down on my page trigger events. And mostly we don't change unless something happens. You know, like we're quite happily just drifting through life, you know, going by day, same thing, get up, go to work, come back, you know, do whatever, you know, get up, eat, sleep, repeat, all that shit, you know. And then something happens, a trigger event. And that trigger event could be something at work, redundancy, you know. It could be something to do with government, you know, taxes, increases, budgets, you know. Could be something to do with health, you know, your own health, you know. And then we make changes. instead of being proactive and actually working on the things that we want to do, working on the things that we want to achieve. You know, now we do this in the beginning, you know, before we go to school, careers, guidance counselor. Oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? You know, we think about it, we make a decision, we go and get the education to go and get that or do that, or we just fall into something and we stay doing that forever. You know, maybe we could progress a little bit and then, you know, we think, oh God, I might not do that. What if it doesn't work? You know, what if I lose everything? What if I lose everything I've built? I know how that feels because I did that. Did that in my business. After about 4 years, you know, where things were working out, and you kind of freeze, and you're like, "Whoa, hold on a second, let's just stay here a little bit." You know, we've got everything's ticking over nicely. We don't want to do anything. You know, we don't want to break it. We don't want to rock the boat. The truth is, sometimes you need to rock the boat. You know. So look, don't wait for a trigger event to happen. You know, you be the trigger event. You make a decision. What do you want? And go and get it. Go and do it. You can. Okay, right. I'm going to play out with our video. I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter today. By a little bit shorter, what am I talking about? What, 10 seconds? Whatever. Look, my name is Mick McQuillan. You have been watching episode 106, Why Not You? Why not you? I'm telling you, look, you can do it. You can have it. You can have whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Don't forget, go and check out the Y Tribe. Go and find us on WhatsApp. Link is in the description and the link is in the comments. And join us on the Y Tribe. The Y Tribe is to help people find their why, live with purpose, and grow together. We have a Zoom meeting coming up September 30th. It's a long way away. Don't wait to register. Register now. Do it now. Put it in your calendar. You know, we've got a special guest. I'm going to be sharing some very interesting information on what to do, how to do it. You've just got to bring your reason why you're doing it, right? It's no more complicated than that. You know, your reason why, strong reason why you want to change the world. You know, why you want to make the world a better place. You know, why you want to do something which is going to be better for you and better for everybody else, everybody you know. Why not you? You know, instead of sitting on the sidelines, you know, watching the game go on, get out on the pitch, get in the field, jump in the pool, you know, make a splash. Why not you? Right, this video is one of the most important videos, right? It is. If you want a copy of it, reach out to me. I'll send you a copy of it, right? This 3.5 minutes, everything is in it. Everything. You could study this line by line. We should do it. Maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we'll just study this video line by line. Right, Mick McQuillan, see you later. Have a great week. And don't forget, work on your why. But then don't just work on it. Start acting it. Start doing it. Do it now.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on, to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wakened the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.